Real estate investing does not have to be stressful or time consuming. So in this video, I'm going to cover the top 3 ways that military families can invest in real estate and build massive wealth. And in fact, I'm going to add a 4th way, a bonus way that I don't consider the top 3. And I'm going to just save it till the end because it's kind of, I don't want to say secretive. It's just very unique and rare. And not a lot of people know about it. And it's kind of an opportunity that doesn't exist in that many places, and you need to know where to look. So stick around to the end if you're interested in that. But the top 3 are coming up right now. Hey everybody, this is Markian Sitch with Active Duty Passive Income, where we help military veteran families invest in real estate and achieve financial freedom through all sorts of wealth building tactics, but primarily real estate. If you're new here and you don't want to miss out on the next video or any more tips, please hit the like and subscribe button. And what would help us the most if you just share this video. It is such a big help to our mission to reach 3 million military families and help them financially in the next 10 years. So first up is what was my first rental property, and that's turnkey rental properties. These properties are move-in ready, already renovated, and sometimes even have a tenant who has already signed a lease or already moving in like shortly after you purchase. So this means you can start earning your rental income virtually from day one. But what makes them so passive compared to other rentals? Well, the key is to find a very reputable turnkey provider. I cannot foot stomp this enough because they are the ones that found it and renovated it and put in all the new appliances, the new roof, or whatever it might have taken to get it to where it needs to be, ready for you to acquire it as an investor. Their reputation is on the line essentially because they're the ones who made that turnkey property for you. And also they typically partner very closely with a management company. It's basically an extension of their own company, or they have their own property management company and they immediately take over once you buy it and they are already marketing it and finding a renter. So essentially you pay the down payment, you get a loan, you do the closing costs, you go through the whole, acquiring the property process. I mean, heck, you can even buy it cash if you want. And then next thing you know, tenants are sending in applications. Why? Because they typically are pretty conservative on their rental estimates. So they really get a lot of attention. And then as soon as you get a good tenant, they get screened. And next thing you know, you're getting rent checks. And because reputable turnkey providers use reputable property managers, or they have their own company, like I mentioned before, you typically have a pretty good process already from day one on how they're going to handle maintenance and how they're going to do day-to-day tasks. And you guys can establish a pretty good relationship on like, hey, if it's anything over this dollar amount, that's when I want to know. Otherwise, just handle it on your own. I trust you kind of thing. See, this is, it seems like a person-to-person thing, but you can also think of it as a process. You set up the process and it makes it more passive. Now you might be thinking like, wait a second, this still sounds a little bit scary because I still own a rental property. Doesn't sound super passive. I still have to talk to a manager. You're absolutely right. But if you're the kind of investor that might want to have that peace of mind to know that you do have ultimate control, even though it's relatively passive, so that you can make changes the way you want to, this might be the investment for you. So compared to the next few opportunities I'm going to talk about, this one's the least passive, but it's still pretty dang passive. And again, legally, you own the deed to the property, so you have the control. And fun fact, if you haven't seen some of our previous videos, with real estate, there's 6 profit centers, but let me just talk about the 3 main ones with turnkey properties. You're gonna get cash flow, which means your month-to-month life is gonna get better because you're gonna be making more income. It's like you gave yourself a pay raise, right? The second thing is appreciation. Look, I know that the markets go up and down, but over time, just like your TSB or investing in stocks, 401k, whatever, it goes up. And the third way is tax benefits, because you typically, due to depreciation is what it's called, you won't have to really pay any taxes on the cash flow that's coming into your pocket every single month. Next up is syndications. And this is cool because you get to partner up with other investors and pool your money together to buy very large investments. These are typically much more expensive than you would maybe be able to afford on your own, like apartment buildings and large commercial complexes. Now, the level of passivity, very high. You're essentially a silent partner or a limited partner, while the general partners handle the day-to-day and all the management. Now, although you are sharing the returns with the general partners, you do have typically preferential treatment on gaining back your money plus all the returns. So you are first in line when a disposition or a sale of the property happens. And you also have preferential treatment typically on even the quarterly cash flows. I have done a few syndications with my partners, and I'll tell you, this is an amazing way to make investors happy. And I was on the general partner side, and I remember talking to our limited partners, and they were like, wow, we wish we invested more after they got their checks. But remember, you don't have as much control as a limited partner, and typically these are reserved for accredited investors, which means you need to be basically a millionaire. I'm not gonna get into all the details, but that annoying phrase when people are like, oh, it takes money to make money. Well, this is kind of baked into that process. However, remember I said there's a bonus way to get into passive real estate investing? I'll talk about that at the end, where even if you're not accredited, how you can get into this kind of stuff. But all right, moving on. So the third way is REITs, or real estate investment trusts. REITs, or REITs, are companies that buy and manage income producing real estate. It's kind of like investing in stocks. Whereas with syndications, you'd have to be a partner. Here, you're kind of just buying shares. And talk about passive. I mean, this is the most passive way. You just buy shares and then you sit back and collect your returns. The REIT then manages the property, handles all the regulatory mumbo jumbo, and just pays you out the dividends. However, with REITs, you virtually have no control of the property, and you're typically not going to be able to capture as much of the upside if there's like massive appreciation on those properties. This is mainly just because of how big of an operation it is. There's so much regulation, management, and oversight. The margins are just not gonna be as good for you as a shareholder. Additionally, you won't be able to capture some of the other benefits of real estate as well. So hey, if you're looking for a super passive option, REITs might be the way to go. Here is option 4, and truly, I think you're gonna be surprised how this works. Now, imagine option 2, which was syndications, bundled into a few syndications, where you pool money from a group of investors and you buy a few properties instead of just one. So you're spreading the risk a little bit, but the structure of how it is done is still the same. So you as a limited partner can still benefit from all that preferential treatment and from the upside of whatever awesome forced appreciation happens on those properties. And again, as I mentioned, these are typically for accredited investors, but there are some rare occasions where funds go through a lot of hassle of getting it approved for non-accredited investors, and then you're able to invest a lot less. Like most syndications, you need to have at least $25,000 or $50,000 to buy into it. With this structure I'm talking about, when you go through extra regulation, and I'm not gonna go into all the names and mumbo jumbo, but you're able to invest as little as, for example, $500. Now I'm gonna cue a short little disclaimer on the screen because this is such an awesome opportunity, and since it's available to non-accredited investors, we need to make sure that everybody knows what the potential risks are. So here we go, a little bit of elevator music and the disclaimer. Boop. All right, so we're back, and the reason why I had to do that is because I am a co-owner of one of these funds. And the way it works is we are pooling money from our military community at Active Duty Passive Income. And then we, together with some of our star-studded students, are acquiring properties, and then we're going to be managing them and giving our investors the majority of the returns. If you invest, you would be a limited partner, but the cool thing is you can start with just $500. You don't have to do $25,000, $50,000, or so on. So the reason why it's unique, again, is because this is typically meant for those that have a lot of money, right? You need to basically be a millionaire to be able to invest in a syndication as a limited partner most of the time, unless a family or friend is doing this and they let you in on the deal. But here, we went through 16 months and a lot of trouble with all the regulations and everything just to get this qualified and approved so that you can be a junior enlisted in any of the branches and have $500 and invest. All right, so let me just go over those 3 options one last time. So there's really 3 that are most known, and that's turnkey real estate investments, that's syndications, and that's REITs. And then the 4th way is what I was talking about we're doing at Active Duty Passive Income that we call ADPI Capital, and we invest in multiple apartment complexes, and we pool money from our military community, and it's as low as $500. So I highly, highly recommend looking into that by going to adpicapital.com. And if you want to learn more about real estate in general, go to activedutypassiveincome.com. That's what ADPI stands for. And so thank you for watching this long video. My name is Mark Jancic. I appreciate your time. Thank you for being a part of our mission. Just by watching this video, I know that you will help us spread the word about financial freedom through real estate for military. Thank you.